The goal of my chat today, you guys, is to go over 3 points. One is to tell you about what it's like working with Teacup Tiny Homes, and then I'm going to give you a little tour. Lastly, I'm going to leave some time for some questions at the end.
Hey guys, hello and welcome. I'm Jen. I'm the owner, creator, and interior designer here at Teacup Tiny Homes. Teacup Tiny Homes. Teacup Tiny Homes.
And this is Ryan, and Ryan overlooks all of the construction things.
We are going to go over some of the biggest questions that we get asked. Do you have any other questions?
If you have any questions, make sure you mark them down,
Because we're going to cover a lot of information right now.
Hello, everyone. So excited to be here. I'm Jennifer McCarthy. I am the owner, creator, interior designer at Teacup Tiny Homes. Woohoo! So all you Canadians here, give me a hey, hey. We're located in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. Hey, hey, love it. So if you don't know where Lethbridge is, not many people do, but we're located about 1 hour north of the Montana border. I grew up about an hour away from here and moved to the big city to pursue my dreams in interior design when I was 19. The goal of my chat today, you guys, is to go over 3 points really. One is to tell you about what it's like working with Teacup Tiny Homes and working with a builder as opposed to DIYing. And then I'm going to give you a little tour pending the technology works well. And then lastly, I'm going to leave some time for some questions at the end. So if you're all cool with that, yes, perfect. TeacupTinyHomes.com. I was going to say, any of you that have your cell phone with you right now, I'd love you to open it up, grab your phone, and go to Instagram and join, follow, do all the things at Teacup Tiny Homes, as you can see here. And that's where we post a lot of our information. So if you want to stay up to date of all the fun things and the shenanigans that are going on here in Lethbridge, then join us there. And there's a lot of information. Okay. I'll give you time for Q&A at the end, for sure. Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to try and read your guys' comments too, but sorry if I miss some, keep them for the end. But also, one thing I want you to know is that I actually oversee the Instagram account. So you can message me on there. You'll talk directly to me. It's one of my most favorite things to do is to hear your guys' stories. But also, you can email us from the website, teacuptinyhomes.com. And a lot of those come to me as well, or else the team will just shoot those questions over my way. So, hello from Big Sky. Hey, hey, your friends to the north. We have a snowstorm blizzard. What I want to go over with you is there's a lot of talk about working with a builder versus not. And I would say one of the things that is the biggest difference between Teacup Tiny Homes and I don't know if it's a difference. I guess it's just passionate to me, really. I am the sole owner. I created Teacup Tiny Homes 4 years ago. I do not have a husband involved, which I get asked to that very often. He actually sells cars. This was a brainchild that came straight from here. And one thing happened in 2015 after I had been with the home builder I was at for 13 years. Was housing prices started to go up, building codes were changing. And I took a step back and I was really thinking about how the housing industry, how the housing industry had to change. And to me, the thing that was the absolute most obvious was the size, because we couldn't change the building codes. We couldn't change what was necessary. We can't take out insulation in our homes. We can't change it that way. But what I noticed was that things were getting bigger and bigger and bigger. People are getting less happy with all the big things, and there has to be a difference. And of course, Tiny Heirloom, you guys were one of the biggest reasons why I thought tiny home building was for me. I have a design background. I was at home with my firstborn child on a maternity leave, and HGTV was in the background all day, every day. And I thought, you know what? The designer in me and the home builder in me thought I could do that. So what we do at Teacup Tiny Homes, I'll tell you a little bit about our process. We have a great I guess, journey that we like to take our clients on. And we don't just build spec homes, we will also do custom homes. But of course, the more time we spend with you, the more we're giving you our expertise, the more that we want to help you create your tiny home dream, obviously, the more the costs can be. And I think that's one of the biggest things that is generally confusing, is we hop on some of the Facebook groups and we see some of the information online, and there's a lot of misinformation online. So then when you actually pick up the phone and start talking to a builder, it might be difficult to know that. For us personally, at Teacup, our tiny home started about $100,000 Canadian. To you guys in the States, hey, that's a bonus for you with the exchange rate. But a lot of our homes too, they are usually in $130,000 to $180,000. And where that price point comes in is you guys get the opportunity, and we get the opportunity to give you our expertise. What I like to say we do at Teacup Tiny Homes, it's more like coaching. We have our clients, and it is really hard not to fall in love with them. We hold their hands, we help them with the scary decisions. And one of the biggest things about going tiny, again, as a lot of you here watching know, are that it's doing something that isn't the norm. And it's scary when you have parents or friends or cousins or spouses or partners telling you that they don't think it's a good idea. So in the very first beginning phases, when we start talking to our clients, we get to help them. And it's like having, when you have a builder in your back pocket, it's like having a friend to help you, coach you along the way, having the experience so that you're not going it alone. And to me, I think that's one of the biggest things about hiring a builder instead of DIYing it, that it just makes it easier. I like to compare it to getting takeout versus cooking your own food at home. Me personally, I don't like to cook. I do cook. I don't like to, but it is so much easier to have the professional do it for you, or at least help you along the way. So that's where we like to start, is we start with that touch point and really figure out your why. So the biggest thing, number one, first question that you want to ask yourself if you're considering going tiny is why? What is your why? And this is the reason why it's so important, is because when you get into it, and when you get scared, and when you have people telling you shouldn't, or when you get a no from the community that you're trying to talk to, you can come back to that. And there's one key, I should say two key words, which is determination and persistence. And when we have clients that are determined and they are persistent, then just like what Melanie was talking in her video about, is you educate people, you keep going, and you don't let a no stop you from making your tiny home hopes and dreams come true. And that is where we help. I'm looking at some of your comments here. That's where I'm at. My mom isn't sure. Exactly. Yes. I love the comments, you guys. Keep them coming. So at Teacup, what we do, I love you too. What we do is we hold our clients' hands and we help them, and we give you the expertise. I'm on Facebook Messenger with them. I'm texting away at whatever time at night. We laugh, we joke, we have fun, because ultimately your tiny home build experience needs to be fun. It's the beginning of a huge journey, you guys. So make sure that you find a builder that you really have that connection with. I think that's really important. And one thing, we're not going to be for everyone. We don't necessarily focus on affordable. We focus on more of the design side. Of course, the designer inside of me likes to use the beautiful, more expensive finishes, which means that we're just simply not going to be for someone who doesn't want that. And that's okay. At Teacup, we have our Rvia certification for those of you who are south of the border. We in Canada have our CSA 3 certifications. We're building tiny home RVs, we're building park models. And the one I'm going to show you later is our brand new foundation series. We call it the foundation series, where we actually have a tiny home going to Fort McMurray being installed in the city, in the municipality, on a foundation. And that is a really big breakthrough, I think, for the tiny home community here in Alberta anyways, because our homeowner has been so persistent and determined to make it happen. So I'm going to show you that here in a little bit. And I'm also going to try and stay on track. As you can tell, I like to talk. All right. Worried that I won't find a builder who can build to my specs. I don't want something cookie cutter-ish. Yeah, totally. And that's the thing, right? Like, again, we do custom, but a lot of the time what happens It depends on what you want. And with customization with certain specifications and using certain things, availability is something that we have to watch out for. And a lot of the builders that are CSA certified, we need to make sure that we're using materials that are also certified. So we have a lot of creative ideas that come from our clients. One of the ones I love is like the horse trough bathtub, which we cannot install. We can't do that as a bathtub. We have to do that. We get asked to do that all the time. However, we have to install things that are CSA certified for the purpose. So just think of it, if someone like slips and falls out of the horse trough bathtub and like bashes their head and something like that, we would then be held liable. So let's see, I'm just looking at some of the comments here. Keep them coming, you guys. So when we go through the experience, the Teacup experience, the Teacup journey, when you get a hold of us, we go through a discovery call. We find out your why. We find out what you're looking for. And ultimately, we just assess if we're going to be a right fit together or not. So that's a super, super cool part. If not, we like to give you suggestions of some other people that might be able to help you too. After you decide that you want to build Teacup tiny homes, and this is probably normal for a lot of builders, we start the design process. You guys, there's usually a deposit that comes with that, because obviously, I mean, we're not going to put in a whole bunch of design time and a whole bunch of energy if you decide that you don't want to work with us. So in order to do custom quotes, it's really hard, and this is standard across the home building spectrum, tiny or not tiny, is to do custom homes and to do custom quotes. It's really hard to create a number with things that are super duper out of the box. Detachable trailer model, would that be a consideration? We don't do a detachable trailer, we just don't do a trailer, and then we lift it and put it onto a truck to take it. Sorry guys, I'm like all over the place with your with your comments. Does Teacup in your name mean your tines are super tiny? No, probably the opposite. They're bigger than tiny for sure. After you start the design process, then we take you through and we start doing your interior color selections, where I take you through the design. Like I said, my background for 20 years in residential construction is basically interior design. It is focused on the customer experience. And I need to make sure at this point in the growth of our company that we can build the things that you want. It's all going to make sense. It's going to work for you. And one thing that I absolutely refuse to do is build you something that you're going to hate, which is why it's so important that we form these relationships early on in the process, so that when we're building your home here in the shop, and maybe you're on the other side of the country or somewhere far away that you can't get here, then we know when we need to have conversations, we know how to have the conversations, we know what's the most important to you, so that we can tweak or alter or make suggestions to you that are going to work the best. Once we have all of our colors done, basically we start your build. The trailer comes in. For us, it takes us about 6 weeks at this point in time. I know different builders, it's totally different across the board. Our trailers are custom manufactured specifically for us. We have a few different manufacturers. And we have an amazing team here in the shop with trade partners that have been with us for the last 4 years, who come in. They know how to do our tiny homes at this point, and they really put their whole heart into it. It's pretty amazing, the team that we have here. Also, our trade partners too. I mean, we're not a big community here in Lethbridge. They are men and women that I personally have worked with since I was 19 years old, in the field and in construction. So we have a little special place for each other here, and that's a really, really cool dynamic to have. If you look at our Instagram, Nick the plumber, yeah, he's one of our favorites. And then of course we have Ryan, he's our project manager. Ryan and I have known each other. We basically started at the old home builder I was at together in 2005, and have worked together on and off over the years. Let's see, do you charge up front? What if clients change their mind? Well, that's exactly why builders do the deposit, because if you change your mind, there's just kind of a flow. So there's your first like pre-sales agreement, which typically builders will go through, and that's saying, yes, I want to do this. For us, it's a $5,000 fee. Yes, I want to do this. We start the design process. We go through the process from there, and then we go to the next stage, which is ordering the trailer. And at that point, we do actually have some people that decide not to go forward with their tiny home build. Once they see it, you get plans, you get the conversations, you get our expertise. But if you don't decide to go forward, that's fine. But again, as builders, this is our life. This is our dream. This is my passion. I put tons of energy and love and passion into every single one of our tiny homes. And yeah, that's something that is really valuable. You guys, ultimately, when you build with us, you get our almost 50 years of combined experience here at the Teacup shop to help you through your journey. And so if you think about that and put that into perspective of value when you are, like if you were having a consult or something like that, then that's where you can really see the difference between the expertise in a builder and going back to the DIY. You just have someone that really knows what they're doing in your back pocket. And that's the value of a builder. So yes, we do charge up front. Every phase, there are payments that go with each of the phases as we continue on. Let's see, another very important thing to note is financing. A lot of the time, and I'm sure a lot of people have talked about this, here in Canada, most of the places to get financing, we have people that work with us for financing. They want to see that certification as well. So we work with them, we know the process. Many of our clients, they do get financing just to move forward. But usually you want to make sure that you have a nice little deposit saved up, right? The banks want to know that you're invested just as much as they are into your build and your tiny home. So that's something to consider as well. And then we have had financing available for, actually we have a client in Alaska who had financing through her bank. So with those certifications, RVIA and CSA, it's a lot easier to get the financing so that you can meet those deposits as you move along through the process. How much a deposit saved up? Sometimes 10%. And also, you guys, on our YouTube channel, we have a lot of great videos with me talking a lot, using big hands, and that will help you with some of these questions. Looking for a luxury tiny living, mainly I want almost full-size appliances. Absolutely. If you have seen it, then you will most certainly be able to do it. That's what we say, everyone, to really any of our clients. It's just a matter of figuring out how, and then letting you know what the price point is going to be. So pretty simple as that. The Margo model. Yes, thank you, Shay. Our Margo is one of our absolute favorites. It is a beautiful plan. We're actually doing a park model of that here coming up soon, 10 feet wide and 40 feet long, believe it or not. Financing in Canada for US buyer. Actually, yes. So I can't get you financing. You have to source your own financing if you're in the US with a Canadian builder. However, there are options there. And if you can talk to your bank, I know they will sometimes finance you, but there are some other options as well that I'll be talking to more of in the future. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can share my screen right now. I'm going to take you guys on a tour of our latest build that we just did. So hang on a tick. So we are walking into this is our Tagish Foundation Series. So it's 10 feet wide. This is for our client whose house actually burnt down in the fire in Fort McMurray 4.5 years ago. He's had 4 builders that have gone bankrupt in the meantime. This has taken 15 months for us to get to this point. So we like to have a lot of storage, especially in different shelving units and cabinetry. In Fort McMurray, that is in northern Alberta, if you don't know where it is. It's very cold climate, so he needs a lot of places to put his boots, to put his winter clothing and that kind of thing. So again, everything is structurally engineered. This home is not on a trailer. However, we did keep it pretty comparable to what we do as standard. For us at Teacup, again, these aren't IKEA cabinets. There's nothing wrong with IKEA cabinets. These are high-end custom cabinets that we use, and we do soft closed doors and drawers. We like to have the hanging rod that goes across, and then of course a ton of space for shoes and boots. Again, with the cold weather climate, you guys, we think a lot about where those big jackets and stuff are going to go. It's a different way of living, right? And that's where we have to take into consideration in those initial phone conversations of what you have, what you use. One thing we really like to do is tell our clients to actually measure the amount of clothes that they have or that they're going to take with them, so that we can create a closet that is literally as big as you need. And of course, it's going to change. You want room for adaptability, but we want to make sure that we have the necessities accounted for. Kitchen sink, we use Kohler faucets. The one thing I love about Kohler faucets and fixtures is that it doesn't matter if you're in Canada or the US. If anything happens to them, then you can just return it, redo it, put a new one in, and you get no warranty issues. So that's another thing that we think about all the time is how is your home going to function for you long into the future? We want to make sure that we're using materials and products and appliances that are actually going to work. So a lot of the things in here too were chosen by our client. It's a 30 by 30 shower. Everyone likes the hand-fold shower, of course, and that's really important for functionality. Behind those double doors, actually, I think I will show you, is the Navian hot water heater. They are high efficiency furnace right here, which will be hooked up on site. So this is a site install and all the ductwork. Basically, it's a certified RTM. So we have standard residential appliances. This is not what we would use as standard for heating and for water, but because this one's a little bit different, that's what we use there. Broom closet or storage, whatever he chooses to use it as. And the yellow door, the yellow door was to give a nod to his home that burnt down. He had yellow cabinets in there, so that was actually Ryan's idea. And then sleeping space upstairs. Because of this loft and some headroom, things that we have to consider with our National Building Code in Canada, there's about 5 inches less headspace in this home than there is in our typical tiny homes. So our tiny homes on wheels, we actually, we follow the IRC as well, even though it doesn't, like it doesn't, obviously for our RVIA, we consider it, but we also consider it for any CSA certified homes as well. So that's your guys's tiny home appendix in the International Residential Code. We follow that as well. Coming back downstairs, or shelves, depending on the terminology that you want to use. And again, this home doesn't have a lot of windows either because it is going so far up north. We want to make sure that we really have those insulation values that we're going to keep him warm, keep him comfortable. 24-inch wide appliances. And we're going to do a quick walk around the outside. And sorry, I can't see any of your comments right now. So hopefully everything's still working. So walking around the outside is the hose bib. This is a vinyl board and batten siding. We use the Lunos for the heat recovery ventilator for the HRV. You can see we built it on the stilts. So truck is actually coming in next week. And we'll be craning it onto a truck and then it'll be heading on its 15-hour journey north. Here we go. These are also triple pane windows in this one, which is really important to keep them warm. So there you go. I'm going to stop the share and ask you the questions. Do you ever use compost toilet? Yes, we use a separate, what is it, 9210, I believe. That one is CSA certified for you, so that is the one that we always go with. We love them. Our clients absolutely love them as well. So it's not on a trailer, but can move it with a trailer at some point. Yeah, so you just crane it up, you put it on a trailer, on a truck, and then you drive it off, and then you crane it back down onto your pile system. So that's exactly how we do it. Do you use Rvia Shelf products? We have, yeah, for sure. Rvia Shelf has some really great products. I think the drawer glides that we use are a Bloom product, so yes, for sure. I'm not sure. Design option on bifold or trifold. Ross, I'm not sure what you're meaning by that. How to become a builder. Ooh, do your research. Like I said, I have had 20 amazing years almost in residential construction. I went from design into production manager into operations manager of one of the largest home builders in Lethbridge. So I have a lot of experience in home building in my back pocket. That being said, going to tiny home building, I thought it would be easy, and I like to say I was a little bit naive, but it's so worth it, and the journey's been amazing. So I would say just do your research, right? Do you follow up with clients after they've lived in their home? Yes. Some of our clients, oh my gosh, they just give me all the feels. We have a gal in Calgary. She's absolutely amazing. And we talk to her all the time. Actually, we're up there 3 times this summer, I think, to see how she was doing. Approximate flight price of delivery to California. You know what? We get all of that custom quoted. So I honestly don't know. I know to go to Toronto can be somewhere between $4,000 to $5,000. Also, what is the fee for driving versus cost of you driving? I'm not sure, Annie. If you drive on your own, that's fine, but you have to get the permits. And of course, you want to make sure that you have the right licenses and stuff like that, because they are pretty heavy loads. Use SIPs. We do not use SIPs. Extra step you take for installations of cold environments. Yeah. So like I said, on this one going to Fort McMurray, living tiny in Alaska. Hey, James, perfect. So the one that's going to Fort McMurray, very similar to what would be like in Alaska. We use spray foam insulation in the walls, and then we actually have to do a 2-inch rigid foam insulation on the outside. So for us, in Canada, we have an energy efficiency code in our national building code that we have to follow. So we have to make sure that we have all the right calculations so that there is not too much heat loss, not enough heat gain, or enough heat gain. And I don't do the calculations. I send it to our engineer to do it. I focus on all the other things. But yeah, triple pane windows and that kind of thing we can do for Alaska. What is the cost of building a unit of what you showed just now? Yeah, so let's see, our Tagish plan, if that was on wheels, built to our standard spec, starts around 95,000 Canadian. So I think that comes out to, I don't know, maybe 75,000 US or so. And yeah, his, because we had to do a lot of customization, it was over the 100. We were closer to like 120,000 Canadian, just for some of the things that we had to do specifically for him and his build and with our building code. Turnaround time, our build time itself is 6 weeks in the shop once the trailer gets in. So we have to account for that little bit of time when the trailer comes in. And also design time. Design time takes the longest, especially if you want custom. All in all, our turnaround time is about 4 months total. And unless you wanted to go with like one of our plans, not make any alterations, and then we can just get it started right away and move forward for you, you might be looking at about 3 months. Less is more. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Any more questions, you guys? We have 1 minute and 54 seconds left. Help customers with legalities. Yeah, actually, the home builder I was at, we were also a land developer too. So I find a lot of people hear a no, and then they don't talk to us much anymore. I spent 5 years working on a community, doing architectural controls and land development, and working with city council and with the home builder I was at. So the verbiage, working through those legalities, yes, absolutely, we are here for you. And that's what I mean by, we literally hold your hand. You do have to do a lot of work. It's a time commitment. Like building any home, you need to be able and willing to invest that time into your tiny home dream, but we are there to support you before, during, and long after your build. TeacupTinyHomes.com. Yes. Transportation costs, again, guys, it's all custom quoted. It depends on size. It depends on weight. It just depends on length. So thank you, Kay. I'm going to round it up here, you guys. I have 54 seconds left. Thank you so much. TeacupTinyHomes.com. You can get a hold of me. Follow us on Instagram at TeacupTinyHomes. You guys are amazing. Great questions. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you again. And yeah, that's about all.